Audio-Technica ATH-M50x promises studio-accurate sound and pro build for under $160. Either we've reached budget studio nirvana or we're staring at another legend propped up by hype. On paper it's stacked, proprietary 45mm drivers, acclaimed 15Hz 28K Hz frequency range, 38-ohm impedance, 90-degree swiveling cups, detachable locking cables, and a 4.7-star crowd score. Sounds criminally generous, but specs can be sneaky. Here's what caught my attention. I lived with the M50X for 3 weeks, tracking and editing on a Focusrite, commuting with a phone dongle and a /being against studio staples. I've put the direct link to check current pricing in the description, but before you click anything, let me show you what I discovered after 3 weeks of testing. Here's what the M50X says it will do. Deliver studio monitor accuracy with exceptional clarity, deep and accurate bass, and excellent isolation in loud environments, all in a durable, comfortable package with pro features. Key marketing promises. Exceptional clarity across an extended frequency range with deep, accurate bass. Circumaural cups for excellent sound isolation in loud environments. Pro comfort and durability, plus foldable design and 90-degree swivels. Detachable cables for flexible, professional monitoring. Sounds impressive, right? But here's where things get interesting. Reality check. They claim studio-accurate clarity. What you actually get is a fun, V-shaped tuning, boosted bass and treble, slightly recessed mids. Here's why that matters. If you're mixing, that bass lift around 80-120 Hz can trick you into undermixing low-end, and the elevated highs around 9-10 Hz can push you to dial down cymbals and sibilants too much. Evidence AB against Sony MDR7506 and Sennheiser HD560S showed vocals on the M50X sit a touch further back, while kick and sparkle jump forward. Pleasant for listening, not textbook neutral. They claim deep, accurate bass. Reality, deep, yes, accurate depends on your definition. You'll hear tangible energy down to about 30 Hz with usable rumble near 20 Hz, but it's not flat. There's a tasteful mid-bass emphasis that makes kick drums and electronic bass pop. Great for tracking and enjoyment, a little colored for critical EQ decisions. Let's be real, extended frequency range doesn't equal accuracy. They flaunt 15 Hz 28K Hz. Here's where it gets mathematically impossible for humans to verify. Most of us can't hear beyond 20K Hz, and almost nobody hears 15 Hz as a tone, just pressure. That spec speaks to driver capability, not tonal balance. Translation, cool brag, limited real-world value. They promise excellent isolation in loud environments. Reality, good passive isolation, not magic. As a closed back, the M50X knocks down office chatter and AC hum. On a subway, you still get low-frequency rumble. Expect roughly 10-15 dB of passive reduction across mids and highs, less in deep lows. No active noise canceling here. The 90-degree swiveling cups help for one-ear monitoring, and the fold-flat design makes bag life easy. But if you're recording loud drums in the same room, some bleed is inevitable. They tout pro comfort and durability. The headband and hinges feel robust, the yokes are solid, and the detachable locking cables 2.5mm twist lock to 3.5mm are studio-friendly. Reality. Comfort is good for short to medium sessions, but not luxurious. Clamp is medium firm, pads are on the shallow side, and heat builds after 60-90 minutes. Common long-term reports. The pads can peel after a year or two of heavy use. The fix is easy, swap to Brainwaves or Deconi pads, and you also open up the sound a touch. Here's where things get interesting again. At 38 ohms and around 99 dB MW sensitivity, the M50X is easy to drive. A phone dongle is fine. A clean interface or amp tightens the bass slightly, but you don't need big power. And rating-wise, a 4.7 on Amazon with a huge review base isn't an accident. Still, watch for counterfeits from sketchy third-party sellers. Use the official listings. But wait, the plot twist. This headphone is iconic for a reason, just not because it's ruler flat. Sound quality, expect punchy bass, lively treble, and engaging clarity that flatters pop, hip-hop, EDM, and rock. The mids are slightly pulled back. Female vocals and guitars can sit a step behind the beat. Treble has sparkle and bite, detailed, but can lean bright on hot masters. Soundstage is intimate for a closed back. Imaging is precise but not wide. For mixing, I prefer the more neutral Sennheiser HD560S or Openback HD600. For tracking and creative sessions, the M50X shines. Build quality. About 285G, foldable and travel-friendly. The cups swivel 90 degrees, the hinges feel secure, and the plastics are better than entry-level. You get detachable cables. Typically a 1.2 straight, a long 3 straight, and a coiled option that stretches to around 3 The twist lock keeps accidental unplugging at bay. Long-term, plan for pad replacements, everything else holds up well. No mic, no ANC, no wireless, this is a pure wired tool. Comfort, medium clamp that breaks in after a week. Pad depth is the limiting factor for big ears. Ears may touch the driver fabric. Heat does build over long sessions. Swap pads and the experience improves dramatically, plus you can subtly tame treble and open the stage. Use cases and comparisons. For under $159, the M50X competes with Sony MDR7506, leaner bass, brighter highs, Beyerdynamic DT770 Pro, bigger stage, comfier pads, but the 250-ohm version needs an amp and sure, more neutral mids. If you're DJing, tracking vocals, or want a robust daily driver that's fun to listen to, the M50X is a safe bet. If you're mastering or want mixed-grade neutrality, look elsewhere or plan to reference on speakers. Verdict. Recommended with context. At around $159, the M50X is a punchy, durable, easy-to-drive closed back that excels for tracking, content creation, commuting, and casual listening. Pros. Engaging bass, crisp detail, rugged foldable build, detachable cables, solid isolation, great reliability. Cons. V-shaped tuning isn't neutral, treble can get spicy on sibilant tracks, pads get warm and wear out, narrowish stage. Worth it if you want a dewy tall workhorse under $160 that won't fall apart. Skip this if you need dead neutral mixing or marathon comfort without pad mods. If you catch it near $129 on sale, it's a no-brainer. Stay savage out there. Thanks for watching. If this review saved you from wasting money or helped you find something actually worth buying, I've put the link to check current pricing and read more reviews in the description. And hey, if you do decide to buy through my link, it helps fund these investigations without costing you extra. Got questions or want me to compare the M50X to the DT770 or MDR7506 head-to-head? Drop a comment below and subscribe so you don't miss the next deep dive. New gear every week. Catch you in the next one.